And welcome back to Hannity. Now, before we get back to Reince Priebus, this was the president earlier today.
Reince is a good man. John Kelly will do a fantastic job. General Kelly has been a star, done an incredible job thus far, respected by everybody. A great, great American. Reince Priebus, a good man. Thank you very much.
As we continue with Reince Priebus, who resigned late last evening, I want to ask you this question, because I think, how many people, when you compare and contrast, sir, past administrations, and they were able to get their appointments through the Senate, and the slow process, you were kind of kind to Mitch McConnell earlier, and I, for the life of me, don't understand why some of these people, they haven't had their up or down vote. The president doesn't have his full team on board. There's still a lot of Obama holdovers. Do we need to just get rid of the filibuster, the 60-vote margin at this point, and cloture?
I heard a rumor last week that the Democrats may stop their blockade after Obamacare. We're hoping that that's going to be the case with Senator Schumer. I have heard that might be happening now in August, that all of those nominees will go through. What people don't realize is that we have hundreds of nominees either sitting in clearance or in Senate committees right now. And Senate rules are very complicated, and they're mind-numbing. The filibuster rule is another one. But I think that with the focus on the president's agenda, I think with the constant drumbeat, I think what you're doing every day is important. But I'm hoping that some of these folks in the Senate come to their senses and see that they're hurting the country by not just blocking the president, but doing it in a way that it's obnoxious and it injures the United States of America. They're injuring their country, the country that they're elected to serve. I get you want to have a robust debate. Have the debate. But don't do it at the expense of the country. We actually need people appointed at the Department of Defense. We need people appointed at the Department of State. Get them out of committee and put them to work.
It's August. It's almost 8 months since the president, and this goes to the heart. I know you know this, but it's August, and I don't know, the president, as you pointed out, executive orders, everything that he could get rid of, Obama-era regulations,
he did everything.
Judges.
You know, our regulation, like 16, we're working on the calculation, but it's something like 15 or 16 to 1, meaning for every one new regulation, we're kicking out 15 or 16. His executive order called a 2-for-1. Look at what's happening with jobs. Look at the GDP. Look at workforce productivity. He's doing a great job. But
well, that goes to my question. The president's doing everything he can do within his power, but we have separation of powers. We have co-equal branches of government. Republicans asked for the House in 2010. They asked for the Senate in 2014. They wanted the presidency. They've got it all. Now they're saying, well, now we need 60 senators to get health care done. And I can tell you, and I know you hear it, but conservatives look at the lack of urgency and the lack of progress in the House and Senate, and they are ticked off beyond measure, including me.
Yeah, no question about it. But you go back, and I think the proof is what we talked about earlier, which is the president's very popular out across the country. And he's popular because he's not getting blamed for what's happening and not passing this legislation. People aren't waking up today and saying President Trump is the guy to blame for the fact that the Senate didn't pass repeal and replace. No one's saying that. People understand what's going on. We have a legislature that needs to come together quickly while we still can pass a bill through reconciliation with 50 votes and come up with another idea. And the good news for everyone is I do believe that the leadership in the Senate and people that are working with the leadership in the Senate, the Republicans, they are working hard. And I'm hopeful, let's be hopeful that something's going to get done.
All right, I'm just going to say one word.
I'm an optimist.
No, you are. And look, I've known you for all these years, and under the conditions, I think, that are unprecedented, I think everybody owes, and the president of the country owes a debt of gratitude. Your hard work during the campaign, as I said in my opening monologue, your hard work as chief of staff under these conditions, I think, are unprecedented and the most difficult time that I've seen in my adult lifetime because the attacks are so intense. Here's a question. I'm just going to give you one word, and you go anywhere you want to go. The media in this country.
dishonest.
You're trying to be nice. I can read your eyes.
Well, I'm trying to be nice because, look, here's my problem. There's a lot of words to describe it. What I find to be amazing is how narratives are set, and a lot of it's not true, and facts get placed into stories that then get repeated in a different setting. And if people knew what the actual truth was, whether it be palace intrigue, whether it be Russia collusion, whether it be someone said something in the Oval Office, or whether it be anything, it's the most breathtaking thing for me has been the difference between what the truth is and what often gets reported, and then what actually becomes a full-blown narrative and set in stone, and it's then reported as fact. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but it's very incredible.
Is the media dishonest?
I don't think everyone in the media is dishonest, just like, you know, not everyone in politics is dishonest, or all lawyers are not.
Right,
you know,
fair.
Right. I think that there's enough, though, that have such incredible competition on their hands for information and movement and clicks online and profitability that people are shaving the honest nature of where they know in their hearts they need to be to just barely
can I put it
away.
This way?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that there is a very high level of misinformation, fake news, and dishonesty, and the American public need to be very discerning because you know a lot of what they read and hear on television is fake?
Yeah. I think it's 100%. What you're saying is 100% true. A lot of it is totally fake. The good news is I think the president's done a great job at pointing that out to everybody so that when we get articles written in all these newspapers, people call me, is this true or is this fake? No, fake. Don't worry about it. I mean, it has become an epidemic, but I also think there's such competition and such a drive for money that it becomes dishonest. And so luckily the president's pretty tough and he punches through it left and right and then fills up the arena and will be reelected in a few years, and it'll blow their minds away, and it'll happen.
You know, I do believe that the president is sending signals to the Republicans in the House and Senate. If they want that type of response, stand for the type of agenda he's standing for and keep your promises. All right, my last question, and it's, well, you've been through this process. You helped elect, as the RNC chairman, you helped a lot of those guys in Washington in the House and Senate get elected. You were there with the president. You were there helping him after the primary was over, and almost with him every step of the way. You helped prepare him for the debates. You became the chief of staff. You've been there over 6 months. What is your best, fondest, most proud achievement, or something you're most proud of, or something you'd want to let people know?
Well, look, I don't know if it's most proud. There's so many things that I think the president accomplished, and number one, it's not about me or my accomplishments or the president's accomplishments, but I just think, you know, maybe the first day that we came into the West Wing together with the president and walking around, going into the Oval Office, signing that first executive order, and just the magnitude of that responsibility, and even President Trump, who's larger than life and a proud guy and a tough guy, I remember the moment. It sort of just took his breath away when he walked in. I'd also tell you that when he has to make tough decisions, the deliberation that he takes, the issue in regard to the Syrian bombing, the cruise missiles onto the airfield, he deliberated on that and cared so much about making a decision and meeting again and thinking about it and talking to his generals and listening to them. If people knew the amount of care that this job takes in order to make those types of big decisions, they would be very much inspired. And the president does that.
Last question, because you're saying something that I think is very revealing. You and the president have become very close, is what you're saying. And more importantly, what is there about this president that you would want Americans to know that maybe they don't know, that a side of him that they'll never see? I think they're seeing it now because they've done such an incredible job getting out there across the country and had a lot of touching events.
I think people need to see more of the human side of President Trump, that he's a genuine, decent, caring person that engages people. He's also extremely funny. I know you know that. I mean, he can just crack you up all the time. And he is a good friend. But this is about not friendship. This is about making sure that everything's being run at the direction of the president. And I think, honestly, General Kelly, he's a good man. We've gotten to know each other very well. We've talked tonight. I'm looking forward to working with him for the next couple of weeks on a good transition and making sure that everyone is focused on accomplishing the president's agenda moving forward.
All right, Reince Priebus, I know for a fact how hard you worked, how you have served your country in the process, how difficult it's been with all those forces against you and the president, and we owe you a debt of gratitude, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
God bless you.
Thanks for what you've done.
Thank you, Sean.